All right, on today's episode of Python Papi, we're back inside our TensorFlow course, and we did actually just finish up our malaria data processing module. Let's have a look at what we went over today. Now, as usual, I'm going to go ahead and start compiling now so we can get things moving along in a timely fashion. But yeah, we're going to pick up where we left off from yesterday when we were resizing our images. So next, we will write a for loop for our image and label to print out our values. For example, we will specify that we want to take out just one element by using a dot take. So you see, we have a for image, label, and trained data set, dot take with one specify that we want one element, and then we're going to print out our image and our label. Now note we achieved the same result by just printing out the resizing function with its parameters. The only difference is the label is specified when the for loop version is ran. Well, notice that the shape of this image is in a shape of 224 by 224 by 3, irrespective of whichever image we choose. It's the same thing I showed you yesterday when we printed out the resizing function here with its parameters of image and label. We got back the same results. The only difference is when we run a for loop, we're going to get back the label specified when we don't get the label specified here. And the labels are 0 and 1, if you don't recall. 0 and 1 are for parasitic or parasitized or uninfected. That's the only difference. But yeah, we achieved the same results by just running this print here on the function resizing. So yeah, basically it's the same thing. We just get back the label specification when we run the for loop. So with that being said, let's move on. So also notice that this is a float of 32, unlike previously where we had an unsigned integer. Now we can also do casting. Hold on, let me get this out of the way. Well, let me just get and run through these images so we can get the program compiling. And like I said on previous modules, we have to go through everything, the entire code, because we're building off the top of one thing on top of another. So we have to run through everything to get to the new things. We can't cut out anything from previously or to mess everything up because we're building on top of the old things. So that's why you have to see us going through the same process over and over, it seems like, but we're just going through the old data to get to the new data. Okay, that was all 16 of them. Okay, cool. I also noticed that this is a float 32, unlike previously. I said that already. Now we can also do casting here to modify that depending on what we're working on. Talking about casting if we want to do floats or integers or things of that nature. Now, with that being said, we're done with the resizing. Next, we will look at rescaling. Now we'll start the process of doing this by updating our resizing function to define resizing and rescaling. To make things easier, we just use the names resize and rescale for our updated function. And here's our updated function here. You see we have define resize underscore rescale image label. Return tf.image resize image size by image size, divide 255 by 0 label. So our resizing and rescaling function is such that after resizing, we rescale by dividing by 255, as specified here. So we divide all of our values by 255, and our labels remain the same, C line 273. I just put that there so you can know exactly what it looked to see where that was implemented. So we have our resizing function here, or resize and rescaling function now, and then we're going to return the image that's going to be divided by 255, and the label is going to remain the same. Okay, next we will update our train dataset to reflect our new function. So you see we have train dataset equals train dataset dot map, resize, rescale. Now we can run our new function. Now, just as we did before in the previous section, we're going to shuffle our data, put it in batches, and then we'll do prefetching. So you see we have a train dataset equals train dataset dot shuffle, buffer size equals 8, reshuffle each iteration equals true, dot batch size of 32, and then we're going to prefetch tf.data auto tune. And that was actually the end of the malaria data processing. And I do have the new module queued up. I'll go over that once I'm done explaining this here. So first, let's look at the. So this was the one I printed out yesterday. You can see this is the one we used. We're just using the print of the resizing function. So you see, we have 224 by 224 by 3, float 32. The only thing that's missing here is we don't have the label specified. So this is that there. Let me make it bigger. We don't have to go back to the. Yeah, so that's the print and the resize function. Like I said, we did that on our own. We weren't instructed to do that. I just wanted to see what it looked like. So that's that there. So you see here, we do have the and this one here is the for loop. So this is the for loop here. Let me see if we can actually see the specification. Yeah, so it is specified here, and actually it is specified in the. I missed that. It is specified in the. So it is exactly the same. See, so you have numpy one. Numpy one is just the label because our labels come back as what do you call that, numbers. So we have a 0 or 1. So it is specified here. It's specified as 1. It's just not labeled. It's called numpy. So 1. So they are exactly the same. So printing out the resizing function is exactly the same as using that for loop. So as you can see here, we have the shape 224 by 3, float 32, and then we have our label here of 1. So it's exactly the same. It's just it's moved around a little bit. And it's a different wordings, but it's exactly the same. We get back all of the important numbers and all of the important data. So yeah, with that being said, we actually done with the malaria data visualization, not the data visualization, the data processing. And we're going to move on to our next module. But before we do that, let me get and update this here since it is exactly the same. So there are no differences. I don't want to leave myself incorrect breadcrumbs when I do come back to overlook and reread these modules. So yeah, we started this here, and we didn't do anything in it. Like I said, I just queued it up to get started for tomorrow for when we dive in. And like I said, since we are building off of the same information over and over, what I do is I just bring over all of the imports, then I bring over all of the functions and things that we built from the previous module, excluding the notes. So this is everything from the module we just did, the malaria data processing. This is everything we just built and everything we just put together. It's just excluding the notes. We don't need the notes from the last module because the notes are in that module. If I wanted to read the notes on the data processing, I'll go to the data processing module. So we just brought everything over and saved it, and now we're getting ready for the new module. So we are now ready to build our model, and up to now, neural networks have been performing quite well. That's all I wanted to get started until I actually dived into the new module tomorrow. But yep, with that being said, of course, I'm going to keep you guys posted every step of the way. But for now, this is the Python Papi. You guys stay Gucci.